if you titled this "What It's Like to Own a Brewery," and I started listening to this, I would have cut out. Listen to him talk for.
I'm going to preach knowledge.
It depends on the. Let me just do it. It depends on the person. So like, the last episode I just did was with John Timmerman, who, him and a couple of his, Al Kutri and somebody else, I forget the guy's name. They're putting on a conference in September called No Bull, the No Bullshit Conference, at the On Center, and they got Gary Vaynerchuk to be the keynote speaker. Who do you guys know who Gary V is?
I know that name.
Okay,
I don't know who he is, but
he's like a massive entrepreneur. Like, if somebody's an entrepreneur, chances are they know who he is. You know, and he's like the social media.
We're not entrepreneurs. I think you have to make money to
I think I know exactly who he is.
Yeah.
He.
So he gets like $300,000 for a speaking gig. Like, that's what he gets paid, and he books them like all the time.
Right.
Not to mention all the companies he owns. And so, Resi, he started Resi and then sold it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they're bringing him as the guest speaker, and so I had John on the podcast last week, and the title was like, John Timmerman's bringing Gary Vaynerchuk to Syracuse. Nick Ford from Limp Lizard was listening to, like, saw the headline, and immediately, and the episode was an hour long, he immediately texted me and said, I'm not listening to one of your podcasts for an hour to find out when Gary V is coming into town. Just tell me. But within the first 2 minutes of the podcast, we gave every detail of when he was coming, how to buy tickets, where he was going to be. Like, so, I mean, 2 minutes, and he didn't listen to it. He just texted me. So, yeah. So, yeah, man. Well, you guys brought beer.
Yes.
We did bring beer.
We brought 3 of our more popular.
Sweet.
A Pilsner, a New England, our Heavy G Idaho 7, named after our mascot in the brewery, our boar.
Yeah.
Is Heavy G. And then our one of our most popular beers, our chocolate peanut butter porter.
Really? Okay. Which one should we go for first?
Well, it's up to you. What would you like?
I kind of want to save the most popular for later.
Okay.
Yeah, I would start with this one.
All right, let's do that one.
That's Eric's favorite.
We'd go right in order. I would go this one, Heavy G, and then chocolate peanut butter.
Okay.
Just because I think that makes sense.
I learned my lesson not to drink too much on podcasts with Petro from IBU.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if there is too much for Petro.
Yeah, Petro. I've never seen him without a 4-pack in his hand.
So you guys know Terry, who now is up in
Great Adirondack.
Yeah. So Terry at the time was down, like, hanging out with IBU, like,
Thanks, brother.
brewing with them and stuff like that. And so we did that episode at IBU. And Terry was running around with his camera, like, getting pictures and videos. And Petro kept, like, motioning Terry, and he would just, like, go get him a beer and he'd be like, Terry, get me a beer, and and every time Petro had one, I had one.
Right.
And that was like a 2-hour episode. So by the end of it, I was, I forgot what we were talking about. So
You just had to start over.
yeah. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So this one's called Blaine's Finest Pilsner. Blaine is our brewer.
Oh, nice. All right. So you two were friends, right? How did you guys meet?
We worked together back in 1999 at M&T Bank in North Syracuse.
Okay.
Both on the platform, both pretty fresh in banking.
Yeah, I had just started a year before that. He started maybe a year after I started there, but relatively quickly.
We were both home brewers and both into barbecue, big time fans of barbecue, smoking, whatnot. We had a couple cubicles right next to each other.
Yeah. You guys from here?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in North Syracuse.
Okay.
Went to Cicero, North Syracuse. I've been here pretty much my whole life other than when I went to school.
Nice. Yeah.
So Dave's been from
everywhere.
Yeah.
I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Wow.
Lived in Saskatchewan, Toronto, Buffalo, Jersey. Ended up in Syracuse in '85, and decided pretty much to put down some roots. And
yeah.
So I guess I'm local at this point in time.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you've been here ever since?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Syracuse.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's a great city.
I do. I'm like one of the people. I'm only 33, but I'm one of the group who graduated high school from around here and just hated it, wanted to get out, and did. And I was in Central Texas for a couple years, Killeen, Texas, and the first night I was there, I was like, "What the fuck? Where the hell am I?" Because there's like geckos in the house. Like moving out there, I never in a million years thought that there would be like reptiles in your house, and that would be normal.
Yeah, my wife would have made us move.
Oh yeah, man. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I lasted about 2 years, and like during that whole time, I just couldn't wait to get back to Syracuse.
Sure.
There is something about, I feel like people get together more around here than I've experienced anywhere else I've lived. And most of that was like the South. So
Sure.
I don't know why that is. Syracuse, the winters, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You go to somebody's house, you go to a bar or a restaurant, a brewery, and hang out.
Yeah.
Get some beers.
Yeah, you're not hanging out outside.
No,
so,
you're not hanging out outside.
For 8 months out of the year, basically. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so living here and working at M&T, and I mean, I'd ask you like, what got you into barbecue and beer, but that's pretty obvious, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's hard to put in the words. How do you not get into barbecue and beer?
Right.
I think they both go so well together.
Yeah. Yeah. So from there, I mean, we started talking at the bank about how we both loved both things and started hanging out more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then we both went our separate ways, but we still got together and barbecued together more than brewed together. But did some barbecue competitions together.
Yeah, that was about 7 years ago. We started doing competition barbecue as a hobby.
Wow.
Which is more of a reason to sit in the backyard, drink beer, cook food, and not have to do yard work. And
it's like a 48-hour tailgate party.
Yeah, right.
It's basically what it is.
So where are you at on pellet smokers?
I believe wholeheartedly in stick burners.
Okay.
So.
I've never used a pellet smoker,
all right,
so
cool.
I actually just built 2 smokers.
Oh, nice.
Out of 55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
So I use just wood chunks.
Okay. Cool.
In charcoal.
Yeah.
He has our big smoker, which is all wood.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's a big trailer. It's
a
stick burner. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I think it depends on what you're cooking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think if you're cooking a brisket, you want it on a stick burner.
Yeah.
If you're cooking chicken, you don't want to fire up a big smoker and have to get a good fire going for an hour.
I get that. That's true. I never thought of it that way. I have a buddy, Alan, who's a great cook, not professionally, never has been, just at home. And in the summertime, I mean, forget it. Has the smoker going once a week at least. And for his own stuff, he would never, ever, ever touch a pellet smoker. He's like, nope. He has like a smoker one of his buddies built him, and he's out there. He wants to chop the wood and like do the whole thing, right? And for the past 2 years, he's been trying to convince me to buy a pellet smoker. I'm like, but you're against it. He's like, yeah, but just buy one. I want to see what a Traeger looks like.
Well, and Traegers are great, and they are great. I mean, they're easy to control the heat.
Yeah. I don't know.
I started with an electric bullet smoker from Charbroil.
Oh,
like
really?
a $79.
Okay.
I had that for a good 10 years because it was easy,
Yeah.
You don't want to watch it.
Right.
You do sometimes have to do what your wife tells you to do, and you go inside and come back out, and the temperature's still the same. But
smoking is no joke. That's a serious.
Yeah, it's a lot
thing.
of fun.
Yeah,
it really is a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. So, what do you like? You like better brewing or smoking meat?
That's a great question. I like brewing better.
Do you?
Yeah. I just like creating something out of just raw ingredients.
Okay.
I mean, smoking, you're rubbing some meat and you're throwing it on a smoker and you're watching a fire.
Right.
But, I think one of the reasons that we wanted to start the brewery is we wanted to actually produce something.
Yeah.
Something tangible.
Yeah.
We spent our whole careers selling either investment products, banking products, that you couldn't touch or feel.
We were
or
selling
see.
dreams.
Yeah.
Selling dreams.
That's what you told your customers. But in reality, we were selling stuff that we couldn't see or feel or touch or taste.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the reasons why I always wanted to not necessarily always wanted to open a brewery, but one of the main things with me with wanting to open the brewery is that I wanted to actually produce a product that you could touch, feel, and, taste.
Yeah.
I never knew I wanted to open a brewery until he told me. So.
Yeah, that's Dave never thought we were actually going to open this brewery.
Really?
No, he called me up one day at work, and said, "You want to go get a beer? I got to talk to you about something." And
what year is this?
this would have been 2015,
Yeah.
late February, early March 2015, and I will take any excuse to get out of the bank and go get a beer early. I'm on an appointment. Won't be
Yeah,
back.
he made up an appointment. Business call.
That's not true. They were all legitimate. So,
You're-
but I'm like, what the hell's Eric want to talk about? I'm like, Jesus Christ, what do you do? Get somebody pregnant? I don't know. I had no idea what he wanted to talk to me about. So, we go to the Bull and Bear over there in East Syracuse and grab a couple beers, and he's like, I want to open a brewery. What? What? Like, what do we don't know anything about running a brewery.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't been homebrewing in a long time. So I homebrewed probably from 94 until my son was born in 2000. And then I just didn't have any time for it.
Yeah.
And, I got out of that. And that's, I think, why I got into barbecue, because, it's not quite as intensive. Plus, I don't do any brewing at the brewery myself. I'm not good with the details of brewing as far as everything being exactly the same every time. One of the things I like about barbecue is the fact that I can just play around with the sauce, and you get a base, and then what do you want? You want a little more heat, a little more sweet, whatever. So that's kind of how I run things, which is not good for consistent, tasty beer.
And if you're barbecuing, it's like, I mean, what's the worst that you're really, you spend a day and you lose the brisket or whatever, and that sucks. But if you're making beer, I mean, you're waiting a while.
Yeah.
And especially at this level, if one thing's off, that's a ton of beer. It's
we've dumped our share of beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
the learning curve going from home brewers to commercial brewers
is huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see with a lot of the breweries is, when they first open, beers might be okay.
Yeah.
And as they age, or as you get older and wiser, I guess, it just gets progressively better. I think we've seen that a lot here in Syracuse, because when we opened, what were there, 4 breweries? 5 breweries?
Yeah. I mean,
something like that.
You had Empire, the Middle Ages, of course, and then Eastwood,
And Willow Rock.
and WT.
Oh, and WT
Had all
opened before us.
opened.
Oh, and Stout Beard.
So when did you technically open? Was that last March?
No, we opened June of 2016. So we're going to be hitting our 4-year anniversary this June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you just move to the tap room in last March?
Nope.
No, we've been there from day one.
Ah, okay. So like one thing, I never research any guests when they come on. I did in the beginning, and then I just realized it wasn't it didn't work, right? But for you, I wanted to jump on back and, because I've talked a lot about to other brewers and stuff. So I wanted to get some context, and the Syracuse.com article that I read that Don did, it seemed like it was opening day, and it was dated March of 2019. So I was like, it didn't say their opening day. No, and looking back at it,
he did an article for us back in 2016, probably about a few weeks before we were set to open.
I think he did a follow-up.
He did a follow-up last year about breweries.
Just breweries that opened.
Okay.
When we opened, there were 7 or 8 breweries in planning at the same time.
Wow.
And we all opened within a year of each other.
Yeah, that's wild.
So he was doing a lot of articles, and then he went back, I think, and did an update, follow-up, just to see where everybody stands.
Yeah. Well, there goes half my questions about what it's like to been open for just a year. No, I'm just kidding.
That's all right.
So 2016, that's wild, man, because, nowadays there's a brewery everywhere.
Yeah, there's 20, I think, 20 or 21 in Onondaga County.
Wow.
And we were, I think, the 7th, maybe. I don't know if that's an
Something
exact
like
number,
I don't
but
know.
somewhere
I don't
near
remember
there.
those things anymore.
You were
Yeah.
early. Yeah.
But I think what we've seen is, all of us, for the most part, I mean, some breweries came right out of the gate and their beer was, the same as it is right now. But a lot of us are home brewers. We had a learning curve, and we needed to change some things and adjust some things and do some things differently. And it takes time to get where you want to be, and everybody's still improving and trying to make better beer. But I think over the last 6 or 7 years, we've seen good growth in breweries, but also some good solid growth in solid quality beer coming out of Syracuse.
It's pretty interesting. I've never thought of it like that, because when you think of like a restaurant opens up, depending on if the owner is like the chef or not, but let's say it's the chef. For the most part, they've got their shit honed in. You know, like they open the doors and, the food's good, and it kind of stays that way. You don't. I've never really. I go to Kasai all the time.
Sure.
I've loved the food as much day one as I do today. I haven't really noticed too much. Progressed a little bit, but I've never noticed like this. Oh, it sucked and now it's amazing.
Right.
But I guess beer, when you're going from that stage of like at your house to then like massive quantities, I guess that would be kind of noticeable over time.
And you can't do a lot of testing before you open,
Right.
because you can't legally really brew out of your spot. And then if you test for years or a year before you open, you're paying rent or a mortgage, and and most of us started on a pretty strict budget. So
I'd imagine.
we all had to get our doors open and sell some products before.
I think it's more important nowadays though for newer breweries. The expectation is like restaurants, that they've got their shit together, and I mean the industry I think is very different from when we opened to now, just because of competition and how many people are out there. And 2012 was when they passed the farm brewery legislation that really saw the big explosion of breweries in New York State. So there's a lot. There's probably a lot more train brewers now too. I mean, back 5 years ago, you didn't have a lot of commercial brewers locally in the state, but now, from going up through different places, you've got some experienced guys and girls that know what they're doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about about competition? Like there being so many, going from if it was 7 or 8 or whatever to now having 20 something or hundreds in the state.
Yeah, I think right now we're still behind the times.
Really?
And around here, I mean, I think we're getting close to where, we're going to see some effects. If 20 more breweries open, then it's going to take business away. But we have a very good beer community in Syracuse, and they're all fairly supportive of all the breweries. So right now, I think the more breweries and the more successful breweries that we can have in this area, the better it will be for all of us. If there's one brewery that, if we could have other half or something, drop into Syracuse, then people will travel into Syracuse and they'll hit up all of us as they're going. So, I look at it as a positive. Obviously, being so close to other breweries, we share some regular customers, so we lose some business there. But that happens in every industry. I mean,
well, you get your regulars. You have your fans, the people that come to you, on a weekly basis.
Danny, who has Wanderlust on a budget, huge fan of Full Bore. We
love Danny.
Danny's in every Wednesday.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And Josh.
Yeah. Can't forget Josh.
No, not forget Josh.
Everybody just always mentions Danny.
I hope you're listening, Josh.
We love Josh too.
Well, should we go for the next one?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's Heavy G, Idaho 7.
Okay.
So again, Heavy G is our mascot. He's a stuffed boar on the wall, and we named him after our first boss. at M&T.
Yep.
George was a large man, and we absolutely, and I hated it throughout my entire career, used to have call nights where you'd have to make some outbound phone calls, solicitations and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he enticed us to stay for call nights by going out for Wednesday night beer night afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
So
you
you'd
go.
stay, make a couple hours of calls, and then we'd go to Fresno's in North Syracuse.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I loved Fresno's.
Fresno's.
That place was good, man.
Which is now what? Basil Leaf?
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
that one is, and then the one that's in Fairmount is Good Buddies.
Good Buddies. That's
Yeah.
right.
It was a place. Did Fresno's have like that Southwest theme?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was Fresno's.
And they had the big pint mugs, but they
Yeah.
were plastic. You always thought you were going to be lifting up
Yeah, you
100-pound
hit
glass
yourself
and
in the
hitting
face
yourself in the
with
face, spill beer. But,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
man.
So when we like, we're going to call ourselves Full Boar. We got to have a boar on the wall.
Yeah.
He's got to have a name. So,
Yeah.
and we had given George the nickname Heavy G.
Okay.
That was his street name.
Yeah. And we called him Heavy G all the time. It's not like he doesn't know his name
Right,
is
yeah.
Heavy G.
Yeah.
And I inboxed him and said, "Hey man, we got a boar and we want to call him Heavy G. Do you mind?"
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's awesome. You want me to send a picture so you can put right next to it?
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah. So what made you choose the name Full Bore?
oh man, we went through a lot of different names. Our first name, which is kind of stupid now, we were going to call ourselves Flying Pig.
Okay.
And the logo is going to be a piggy bank with wings because we're a couple bankers and,
Yeah.
we don't own a brewery and pigs fly kind of idea.
Right.
But there are a lot of flying animal breweries out there. So
That's a big Cincinnati thing, the Flying Pig.
is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah. There's flying bison. There's
Flying
flying
fish,
fish.
flying dog,
Yeah, there's
flying elephant.
every animal you
So,
can think
and
of.
I was in a beer bar in Washington D.C. and I opened up the page and they probably had like 100 taps or something crazy, but there was like 9 or 10 flying animal breweries. I'm like, maybe
Maybe not a
we
good
want
idea.
to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah.
So we started playing around with different names.
Well, we wanted it to have something to do with a pig
Yeah.
because of the barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we don't serve barbecue or make
Yeah.
barbecue,
Maybe one day.
maybe someday we will.
I was
but
going to say, have you thought about like bringing one of the smokers up there?
we have.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. We're toying with it, but we figured one step at a time. We didn't want to be
Yeah.
opening
I
a brewery and
Barely
running a
knew what to do
restaurant.
with
for
the
sure.
brewery.
Yeah.
We know nothing
Yeah.
about running a restaurant. We know less about running a restaurant than we did about opening the brewery.
And cooking's how I relax. So if all of a sudden I got to
That's
cook,
right. All of a
Yeah,
sudden, that's your
I
job.
don't know if I could take the criticism. I
Yeah.
get
Yeah. That's
it's very
true.
sensitive.
But so we wanted it, but everything that we came up with that had the word pig in it
Yeah.
just didn't sound right. It just so we even had, what was the one?
Mocus.
Mocus.
Mm.
That's
Mocus
the
is the Celtic god
of the boar
of
hunt.
the boar hunt.
Okay.
Which is then we got boar, and then we just started to play with boar, and
Yeah.
we came up with full boar because we really went full bore. It was, like March 1st was our first conversation. We signed a lease in July
Okay.
of the same year, so it was really short period of time. This all kind of came together, and then by the time we got our approvals, we started our build out in November of 2015, and we opened up in June of 2016. So
Okay.
we went full bore.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reset the cameras real quick and ask for more of that heavy G because that stuff's delicious.
Yeah, so this is one of our signature lines. We'll do the same base malt and then change up the hop addition at the end. So this has got Idaho 7 hops, and we've done Simcoe, Equinox. We got a new one coming out for St. Patrick's Day, Ariana. Oh yeah, that's it. You probably want that.
Stop and just reset the cameras every 30 minutes. They're close to it. Where else they cut off? All right. This is the worst part about the podcasting is having to edit all of this later on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty-
right. All the different angles and
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Although
Try to get my thin side, please.
you're on the best camera that there is. It
Yeah,
has
I
the-
knew that when I walked in. I looked it around with a
yeah, I'm sitting
practiced
there.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, you're on the worst one because I still haven't been able to figure that thing out. Yeah.
Have these guys been here?
He hasn't yet.
No.
One of the plans was in 2020 was to do like a whole themed. Every month was going to be a different theme.
Sure.
And I've only done that in January. So February was just kind of like a hodgepodge. And I was planning on doing like a whole distillers month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to have Last Shot Out. I've already done when Cuse Juice went south. I went up there and did a whole thing on that.
Right.
That was probably the most widespread one that we did. That thing got like 20,000 views on Facebook, that video for it.
Cuse Juice controversy was real.
Big news around here.
Yeah.
Now they have the Excuse.
Oh,
yeah. The Excuse line of liquors, right? Flavored liquor.
Oh, are you serious? I thought you were just making a
No,
joke.
no, excuse. You need
real.
an excuse to have liquor, or I don't. They have a whole theme behind it.
Yeah.
Is that the brand, or is that?
That's the
brand. Is
the
Excuse
brand is now
and their
Excuse.
flavor.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's dumb. Listen, I've never drank Cuse Juice before in my life.
Right.
But the fact that the university can and did just kind of, bully them over is awful, in my opinion. And I bought the bottle, and like, I think a week ago, I just put it on the Instagram story and tagged Syracuse University in it, because that's why I bought the bottle, was to be able to do that,
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, it really is. It's a shame.
But nothing's ever going to happen with that.
Right.
Like, yeah. I'm really curious, and I don't know what it is, but I'm curious to the relationship between like the city and the university.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd think somebody would have stepped in and be like, wait a minute, are you sure you guys want to do, something?
Right.
But no, nothing ever happened. Yeah.
Well, they're a fairly large employer in this.
I know.
In the city and the county.
Yeah, they are. Is it the second largest employer in Syracuse?
Probably.
Yeah.
Behind the hospital?
Yeah, they are. And I understand that. I just, it just seemed dumb.
I think there's no reason to do it. No one's ever going to, they didn't want to be associated with liquor.
Brand.
Yeah.
But Cuse Juice doesn't infringe on their brand.
I know.
No one is thinking that has anything to do with their brand.
Yeah. One of the, this is actually me, the opinion is actually what's wrong with society today, because now everybody has the platform to give their opinion on it. But that was one of the things with like Facebook, is a lot of people were saying, you would think they would just go to like the school of like, marketing or management or whatever it is, Whitman, I think, up there, and just say like a class project, we're going to rebrand this for them so we can get rid of the name, and, we don't have to put them out for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But they're coming out with a new pineapple liqueur, so we'll see what that's like.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be any good or not, but
yeah.
I'm sure it'll be delicious.
Yeah.
That might be the Excuse.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah, they're flavored. I know that.
I know it's their new line of flavored liquor is
the big
called
booze
the
guy,
Excuse.
So. Yeah. So you said something really interesting earlier about like if Syracuse had a half man, right, come in, or is that the name of the brewery? Other half. If they had like a other half come into Syracuse, that there would be all these people that come to the area for that and then try everybody else.
Absolutely.
I've had other half before, like is it Thin Man? Was that the name of one of the beers?
Thin Man's a different brewery.
That's a
brewery. It is
in Buffalo.
Okay. Yep. Well, then I'm completely wrong. Maybe I haven't had other half.
Other half's known for IPAs.
Okay.
Hazy, juicy.
Hazy,
Okay.
kind of like this, but probably even a lot hazier.
Okay.
A little juicier.
So, and where are they out of?
Well, they're out of New York City, Brooklyn.
Okay. All right.
But they do have a spot in Rochester or in Canandaigua.
Is it what they're
Victor?
making, or is it just? I mean, obviously they're branding and everything like that, but is it just like that style of beer coming to Syracuse, or just somebody with that much prestige?
Somebody with that much hype.
Okay.
They're making great beer. I mean, really, really, really good beers.
Yes.
But a lot of the beer community, a lot of the beer sales are driven by hype.
Yeah.
And and I don't know where it comes from. If we knew where it came from, we would try to generate some of it. I mean, people will travel for other half beers. They'll travel for Treehouse beers. They'll travel for Trillium beers.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a certain part of the industry that's trying to chase that ability to create the hype.
Right.
Yeah, everybody has their hazy, what is it? Don't the hops come from like Washington or the West Coast hops? Or
Yeah, most of them are West Coast hops.
Yeah. And
there's a brewery in Auburn, Prison City, that
makes phenomenal beer.
Phenomenal beer. Has a lot of, it's a pretty good amount of hype around them.
Yeah.
But they're so small that people can't really travel to Auburn because by the time they get there, it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And they're growing, they're expanding, but
yeah,
they're not there yet.
Yeah. I had never gone out there on like those days that they would do a release of Mass Riot.
Yeah.
But one day I was just out there randomly for lunch and they had some still available. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's really just being able to, other half, it's obviously their name, what they've done for their hype and their branding. But what they're making is still a hazy IPA.
Yeah, but I think you had to get into that hazy style at a certain time in order to really take advantage of that hype.
Yeah.
Other half, Trillium, Treehouse, all started relatively around, close to the same time.
Yeah.
Now the next hype beer is probably something else.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is yet. Actually, it might be like Mortalis in Rochester.
Okay.
Avon. They make a lot of different beers, but they're known mostly for their Hydra beers. They have fruit puree. It almost looks like a glass of like a fruit smoothie when you drink it, and they're really good.
Yeah.
But it's that we're always not brewers.
Yeah.
Aren't necessarily always chasing that next big thing.
Yeah.
But the customers that come into us are looking for the next big thing.
Yeah.
So if we need to get
brewers
out ahead of
might
it.
not be, but front of the house is always trying to fill the
Well,
seats.
So
and
for
keep
sure.
the lights on. So if you can find the so he's the brewer, I'm the front of the house.
Okay. I was just gonna say.
So I'm not the brewer anymore.
Yeah.
We hired a brewer.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna see if he could come tonight. He's an interesting guy. His name's Blaine. He's awesome.
We'll have him in for his own episode.
But he's a little under the weather today anyway,
Yeah.
so he wasn't gonna be able to make it.
Yeah.
We didn't have the right beard quotient in the brewery, so we hired him.
Yeah,
Make
we
sure
needed a guy with a big beard.
Yeah.
So
how did that feel, being able to kind of turn the reins over to him? I'm assuming that you were doing everything before.
Yeah, I was doing all the brewing, all the kegging.
Okay.
Anything that had to do with the production, I was doing on my own. Dave would help a little bit, but like he said, when we first started, he's not big into details.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's pretty much all that.
Certain details.
Yeah.
Most of your day is spent scrubbing and cleaning.
Yeah, so everything has to be clean, sanitized. The whole process has to be followed in order to really make sure that, because one little, speck of bacteria, and you're done. Your whole batch is done.
Yeah.
So then you have a wild ale.
Yeah.
May or may not be delicious.
Going back to the barbecue sauce.
Yeah. So you can't mess up a barbecue sauce for the most part.
So it was hard to give up that brewing side.
Yeah.
But it was also a little bit of a relief for me.
Oh yeah.
When I interviewed Blaine, I knew the second I met him that we were going to hire him.
Mm-hmm.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's a better brewer than I am.
That's cool.
So, they always say you're supposed to hire people that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
Better than you. Dave's yet to find somebody smarter than him. But Blaine was definitely a better brewer than me.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to transition that over
cool.
to him. And then I could focus on, I do the production side of things.
Yeah.
But I also sell. I'm the outside sales
cool.
person. So I'm going out to the bars and restaurants because
Yeah.
we really needed to get beer out
Yeah.
into the community in order to,
That definitely drives some people in. People have
Oh yeah.
had
Yeah.
our stuff at, Angry Garlic,
Yeah.
Grace Tyler,
I mean,
Brick and Brew.
Yeah. Toss and Fire, Brick and Brew.
Anybody that we've sold beer to, we've had people come back in and said, "Oh, I had your chocolate peanut butter porter,"
That's cool.
and
we figured we didn't even know you were there.
Right. Yeah.
We have a lot of people that walk in and say, "I'm a huge craft beer person. I didn't even know you were here."
Oh yeah.
Like, well, you're not huge enough of a craft beer person to Google breweries in Syracuse.
especially when there's only 5.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
It's funny. So we went to Hawaii, like I said earlier, and Rebecca and I, leading up to the trip and the whole time we're there, we're just Googling like best whatever, like food, fish,
right?
Yeah, trying to figure it out. And obviously Hawaii is tourism, and so there are no shortage of blogs out there of Hawaii's best fish tacos or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then immediately my Facebook is just saturated with ads for tourist activities while we're there, right? And so I was like thinking, there's not really anything in Syracuse that does that. Like nobody does like the best 5. Like Syracuse.com does their thing and whatever. And most of that is like, resident driven votes. Right. And so we're starting, actually, we should have it out this week. I brought Chris Malone on, freelance basically, to I just Google like best breweries in Syracuse. That's not the one we haven't not gonna put that one out yet, but like best diners. I go through the list of like whoever pops up. So there's like 35 of them. I take their Google, their Yelp, and their TripAdvisor star ratings, and then get the average. And whoever has the top 5 rating, like average, those are the top 5 diners now in Syracuse.
Right.
And we're just going to put out short little blogs about it, only for the hope that someday somebody's coming into Syracuse and searches top 5 diners or breweries or tacos or whatever and finds it and goes to those places,
Oh, I mean, I'm going to Englewood, Florida for a week, and the first thing I start doing is, okay, what breweries are around? Because the downside of opening a brewery is I don't get to go to breweries anymore.
Yeah.
Especially being in the tap room most of the time. So, I mean, there's breweries in Syracuse I haven't been to basically because of hours and what I do and when I'm working. So I like to hit breweries. So, I mean, that's the first thing I do when I go someplace.
Yeah.
What can I check out? And my lovely wife usually drives me there or home. I should say I drive there.
Yeah. We drank a lot. I drank a lot of Kona beer in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And
I saw a lot of pictures on your Instagram or Facebook. One of them.
A lot of Mai Tais. A lot of Mai Tais. But a lot of Kona beer. Because that's pretty much like all there is out there. And they have a huge, well, their facility now isn't that crazy, but they're building this massive brewing facility. But they have contracts with like brewers that are, obviously big in different parts of the country, like I think Missouri and a couple other places, where they follow their recipe and, they like pull out all the minerals out of the water. And
who are they owned by? They're owned by one of the big.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, they're not an independent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, they got picked up. I can't think of who owns them. Somebody big, one of the bigger ones opened. Maybe not InBev, but.
Oh, that's awful. I didn't know that.
No, Kona's part of a. It's Kona, Red Hook. There's a few other ones.
Oh, is that the big? I know what you mean.
And they just got that whole group just got bought by somebody else.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we did the tour, and like the guy is telling us if you're drinking a bottled beer on the island, it was actually brewed and bottled in Missouri. If you're drinking a tap at like these few places, and then it came from here, from our facility, which I was just like baffled by the fact that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Getting bought by a big group. Is what allows them to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But my point is, their hazy, like West Coast hops, their hazy IPAs they brought in, were terrible compared to things that I've had around here that are brewed with the same hops.
Right.
I mean,
could be water chemistry. Yeah. There's a lot of things that go into.
Yeah, there's a huge. In order to get it to be hazy is one step, and then to get those flavors out of the hops is there's a lot that goes into it. And if your water chemistry is off, then you're not going to get what you want.
That's why nobody can make good pizza anywhere else in the country, because the water's not right. Yeah.
Is it right. So like your water that you're using? I mean, you're not doing anything to it. It's just.
Oh, we're adjusting it.
You are, okay.
Yeah, we adjust our water.
Okay.
To a certain profile depending on the beer that we're brewing.
Do you adjust? Can you adjust that for the style of beer?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so we add things. We add different brewing salts, they call them,
Okay.
to adjust the different contents of different minerals that are in there.
Yeah.
In order to get it to where we want, because, you have excess certain minerals, it brings out the hop character. If you have lower, it brings out crispness, things like that. So
that took us a long time to kind of get our.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot of that to begin with.
Okay.
So part of the learning
we have
curve.
pretty good brewing water around here.
Yeah.
But you do have to adjust it to get it where you want it.
Yeah.
I mean,
one thing Big Mike told me at IBU, which I never knew, I thought all water in Onondaga County came from Skaneateles.
Oh, ours comes from Lake Ontario.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. And I thought all of it came from Skaneateles, which I'm thinking like, well, that's the best water that there is in America. Right? Like, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah,
so.
no, I think
That's just the city, right?
North of the city, almost all comes from Lake Ontario.
Wow.
Which is still good water. I mean, it's still good brewing water.
Yeah.
Here, pass that heavy G down.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, it's not Skaneateles water.
No.
That's good.
It's partly Canadian water. That's why.
But we were just talking about our water today because it's been a little while since we had our water tested.
Yeah.
Because we have to start with a base of what we have to start with and what we need to take out of it and what we need to put into it. So
yeah.
We were just talking about how we need to have our brewing water tested.
Is that a step of this? Is that a process you do for home brewing? Are you adding things to your water and stuff like that?
So yeah, some people are. I started to add.
Yeah.
But again,
I started
when I started homebrewing, it was a book.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was no internet, there was no YouTube.
Right.
I had a book and maybe a magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he started, or when he homebrewed, you were
old.
using syrups and extracts and things.
Okay.
And that's how I started as well. But after a while, I wanted to start using the grain and get more involved in the actual chemistry of it. And that's when I did small water adjustments, but nothing like we do now.
Okay.
So there's a whole spreadsheet that we have depending on what we want, what style we're brewing, and what to add, what not to add.
Yeah. So if the hazy, juicy West Coast, hopped IPA is kind of the trend of today and has been for at least a little bit now, I feel like at least the last year, right? What do you think is next? I mean, obviously, if you knew that 100%, you'd probably be very rich men. But
I think the hazy, number one, there's West Coast IPAs, which aren't hazy.
Okay.
Those are more bitter traditional IPAs that, they've been brewing for years.
Yeah.
Then the hazy IPA, I think, originated in Vermont.
Okay.
And that's all late edition hops. So that's where you're getting the hop flavor instead of the bitterness.
Okay.
So that's been going for quite a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's still
sours.
I think it's still a wave, and it hasn't quite crested yet. Because
Really?
there's still people getting in on that now that are discovering craft beer. I mean, believe it or not, there's still people. I see it every day at the tap room where you get a customer that started coming in, they wouldn't touch anything with hops or bitterness or stouts. And, they had the blonde ale and that was the only thing they drank. And, you look 2 years down the road and now they want the New England IPAs.
Yeah.
And next thing that I have seen is either they're going to sours, whether they're kettle sours, wild ales, mixed fermentation, or back to the basics like a Pilsner or a lager.
Yeah, that's where I think a lot of the craft beer people that have been drinking craft beer for a long period of time are reverting back to drinking Pilsners and more classic styles.
I sat in, I think it was actually last year sometime. I was following the two mics around up at IBU for like a week and a half. And
were you ever sober?
Yeah, actually I was because they were in the morning. So I would go up there for their brew day, their brew mornings, and hang out with them and try and get some camera footage. And I still want to do this, and especially once my light diffuser comes in, this week. I'm going to set it up and try and reach out to a number of you and just do video interview style and just put together a video of like craft beer in Syracuse to throw out as like a Instagram thing.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I was trying to do that last year, but I sucked at all of this. I still do, but I was even worse. And if you've ever been in IBU and Petro's brewing, it's usually like the music is just blaring.
Yeah.
And so I had my on-camera microphone, and I'm like sitting there asking him questions as like, you know, Biggie is blaring in the background and going back through all of that footage. You can't hear anything that anybody's saying.
Right.
But I say all of that to say I went to one of the New York farm brewer meetings at Willow Rock.
Willow Rock,
yeah. And, you know, Big Mike was talking at it, and he was saying, because they were talking about, like, I forget what the next level was, but you had to, isn't it to be a farm brewery, you have to have 80%?
Right now we're at 60%.
60%.
Yeah.
But in a couple years, it's going to be 90.
Right. Now, is that all of your beer? Or is that just the ones that you're going to label as being like a New York?
As a New York State
Depends on your license.
farm brewery,
Yeah.
then every single one of your beers right now has to be made with 60. Right now it's 60%.
Yeah. Okay. And eventually it's going to go to 90%.
It's going to go to 90%.
New York
And when it
sourced.
gets to 90%,
Yeah.
we're going to have a hard time making that beer.
Right.
We won't be able to make that beer.
And so that's what he was saying that night. He was saying,
Right.
like, that's great. I would, as much as he, I don't know, as a beer purist is the way I took it,
Right.
doesn't want to make a hazy, crazy, whatever IPA. That's what
customers
sells.
want, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, I mean, we got 16 taps at the brewery,
Uh-huh.
and it allows us to have a pretty good selection of different styles. But when I only have one hazy New England on, there's disappointment on people's faces when they
Yeah.
look at, like, what do you got for IPAs? And I got one, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then it's
'Cause
gone.
They want to
Yeah.
try different ones. You know, the chocolate peanut butter porter is a really fantastic seller, but with 4 IPAs on, those 4 IPAs will outsell everything else on the board, hands down.
Wow. I mean, I know David doesn't, but do you mind that? Because you're front of the house, but do you guys mind that as beer makers and sellers?
My personal feeling is you make what people want to drink. I mean,
Okay.
you can, of course, make beers that you like and love and have those on tap, but we're not here for Eric to drink at the tap room. We're here to make beer for
it's
other
a
people.
business. I mean, we have to run it as a business. So in order to make a living and pay your rent and pay your mortgage and, you know, we have to make beers that are going to sell. Now, you can find a way to, with 16 taps, you can find a way to slide some things in there that, you know, maybe you like. Like, I don't think we ever would have made the Pilsner if
I can't stand the chocolate peanut butter porter. It's my
Really?
least favorite beer we
Really?
and I love our porter.
Yeah.
We make a fantastic vanilla porter. I hate peanut butter in beer. I have forever. And Josh, Danny's husband's been handing me peanut butter beers for 3 years trying to get me to like them, and I don't. It's just not something I enjoy.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not about me.
Right. Yeah.
It's about the people we're trying to you know, take care of.
Yeah. I get that. I can really understand that in the world and with how much there is, like, because there are 12, you know, breweries in Syracuse. If you don't make it, everybody else does. They're just going to go there, sort of a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, listen, you know, this Eat Local CNY, we've been in business for 4.5 years, and trying to figure shit out, and we finally, I think, have something with the card, you know.
Yeah.
But still trying to grow and expand the business and what we do. And what we do for restaurants is really one of the biggest things, is trying to, like, be the person that they know they can go to and say, hey, I need 100 customers this week. Can you help out? And we can get them there. One of the ways we were trying to do that is through events. Mm-hmm. So we've tried for the last 8 months throwing all sorts of different events, from marketing to like a food truck rally to whatever. The one event I thought was going to like crush it was, we've done 2 of them. We had to cancel this last one, but for a couple of different reasons. One of them was open bar at a place, food, open bar for 2 hours, food and a band for like $40. Figured that's a great, like,
it's a great deal.
That's a great deal.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one came. The one that we did in December, we like scraped together the 22 or 30 people that were there.
Right.
We were just going to do one at Wolf's Beer Garden, and no one bought a ticket for it. We canceled the event. So, like, as much as in my head I'm thinking, people are going to love this. They're going to be able to get wasted, you know, for 2 hours, like, open bar, there's food, and there's a band, and the market didn't care, you know?
Right.
And that's one thing I'm learning is, like, it doesn't matter what the idea is. It doesn't matter what I think is great. Like, this is going to be a great, like, in my head, I'm thinking my wife and her friends, we would love to go out for open bar and food for a couple hours. That sounds like a great time. The market doesn't care, man. Nobody bought a ticket.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I think this is it's kind of a strange town.
Yeah.
People get together and they like to hang out and have a few beers, but you never see people out, you know, and about. And I was in Boston in the fall and walking around Boston, and I know there's a huge difference in population.
Yeah.
But there were, I mean, every street was just lined with people.
Yeah.
They have pop-ups in the middle of the city in different green areas where they just set up food trucks and breweries, and and you don't see that around here. It's kind of like
We're
people
not necessarily a destination city.
No, but it's
yeah.
So it's, I think we, you know, you have to market around that.
Yeah.
You know,
we're getting that way as a I mean, there are some, I mean, in my opinion, the top 4 restaurants in Syracuse are, in no order, because I love them all, and 3 of them are on the Eat Local CNY card. Amano, Deefy, Eden, and St. Urban. And I would pit those 4 restaurants up against most other restaurants. I mean, outside of Syracuse. The quality of food and talent and, like, expression, it's really something special. So I'm hoping that changes, that people come, you know, for the area, you know, for the food, for something, that it becomes a destination other than Destiny USA.
Yeah.
Which Gordon Biersch just closed.
I know, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
That is crazy. They had good food, great beer.
Yeah.
We know those guys pretty well. The head chef over there, Bill, was.
Okay.
I went to high school with him, and Guy, the brewer over there, he's a great guy. He's always willing to help us out. But yeah, that was a shocker.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were closing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
restaurants, but I didn't think
they've closed a bunch.
I thought that they were safe. I swear, I just read an article the other day that they said Syracuse is fine, don't worry about it. But maybe I misread that.
Yeah.
You can never trust corporate.
No.
That's true.
That's why I got out of banking.
That's true.
All right, let's try this peanut butter real quick.
My favorite.
I know.
It's compared to a. People compare it to a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, if there was one thing, if there was one thing that you wish your customers knew, whether it was about beer or one thing you wish, like, the overall beer community did differently, anything like, what would you say it is?
We're open Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
wish.
open Tuesday nights?
Yeah, we wish
Tuesday nights.
everybody in Syracuse knew we were open Tuesday nights.
Are you open Tuesday nights?
Yeah, we are, but
It's
nobody
ping pong
comes
night.
in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I Googled and it said you were closed.
Yeah,
Because I was going to ask, like, how in the hell are the
I've
two?
updated our Google hours.
yeah, we're actually going to start at some point having we we do live ping pong. We have a ping pong table, not live ping pong.
Yeah. What is live?
I don't know what that is.
Like
we record ourselves playing and show it on the TVs because that'll bring people in.
It's a Facebook Live.
But we put up a ping pong table every Tuesday, so
That's
we're
cool.
gonna. I love playing ping pong, and one of our bartenders, Nick, loves playing ping pong.
He thinks he's pretty good too.
So.
Yeah.
We're thinking about we got to do something on Tuesday nights. So we're maybe doing ping pong tournaments on Tuesday nights. I don't know if that's going to be a huge draw, but we're hoping it is.
If I could make a suggestion,
fire away.
Maybe like smoke a brisket on Sunday. Just saying, just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, food would be interesting. I don't know if I'd pick a brisket to start with.
Yeah,
Those are,
that's why. Yeah,
it's my nemesis.
Oh, really?
I've made some really good ones, and then I don't know. With barbecue, we were always our worst critics.
Yeah, for sure.
We'd think it. So it's undercooked, it's overcooked, there's not enough spice, not enough flavor.
Yeah.
And you serve it to your friends and family, and it's gone, and everybody thinks it's the best thing they've ever eaten. It's like, that's kind of subpar, but
I did 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. I did the social media for this friend of a friend in Texas. He was just outside of Austin. He had a food trailer, and
not Franklin Barbecue.
No, not Franklin Barbecue. But what's funny is like the pit master from like a bunch of the other like barbecue places, like Salt Lick, which is a huge place out there. The pit master would come to his trailer every day for lunch.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and they would smoke all night, and they had it down, whatever. But they had brisket was like their main thing, obviously out in Texas. But one of the things that made them unique was it was a fresh flour tortilla that he had the dough all set. He had this tortilla press. He just threw the ball through it and it flattened it out, threw it on the griddle, flipped it. And that's whatever you ordered from them, barbecue wise, came in that
tortilla.
It was a big, like burrito sized tortilla.
Yep.
But they just wrapped it up and handed it to you, and that was it. And it was amazing.
I could go for one of those right now.
Yeah, man.
Barbecue.
That sounds amazing.
I mean, barbecue and tortillas. Yeah, like good tortillas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have good tortillas around here though?
Carmelita's
does.
Her ones that she makes, and her chips that she serves are her tortillas she makes, then she cuts and fries. She actually has, I'd say, maybe the best tortillas around. We do every for May or for Cinco de Mayo every year. The past 2 years, I've done like the best taco, and she won it last year.
Yeah.
It was just like the most flavor with homemade tortillas that wasn't covered in like a Southwest, mayo or, sour cream or whatever, But, and Teresa does a great job. But having said that, I mean, there's no like authentic Mexican food.
We don't have authentic Mexican around here.
And we shouldn't.
Right.
And we never will. But
I wish we had one place. Just one.
Yeah. I'd like a good mole. A good mole. Yeah, that'd be nice. But whatever. But you can put pretty much anything in a tortilla, and it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Generally.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Korean barbecue right now. I don't know why. I'm just gotta
that is some good stuff.
Play around with that. Can't wait for the weather to turn so I can get the smoker going.
Yeah. So that you guys are doing ping pong tournaments on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Well, we haven't actually started the tournaments.
Okay.
We just roll the table out.
Yeah.
We do something every week.
And
Wednesday night's our Randall night. So Randall night, we get this contraption. Basically, we run our beer through it. Pick a different beer every week, and we put different shit in it. Whatever you want to do, we'll try it. I don't care. I've done cereal. I've done gummy bears. I've done Sour
Is that
Patch
like that
Kids.
tube thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow we're doing jalapenos
In our tangerine.
in
pale.
our tangerine pale ale. See what happens with that.
Yeah.
The only thing we haven't tried yet, I don't think, is bacon. We're trying to figure out bacon.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I love bacon, but I'm just worried about grease.
Yeah.
Greasy beer might not be appetizing.
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
I mean, unless they're going to buy one,
Yep.
at least one.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Something different. That's how we came up with the chocolate peanut butter.
Really?
I did Reese's peanut butter cups with a stout. in our Randall, and it was the busiest Wednesday we've ever had.
Wow.
It was insane. I was by myself and like probably lost 7 pounds running back and forth trying to wash glasses, and it was crazy. So that like, all right, maybe we should make one of these.
Yeah, man. All right, so Tuesday nights ping pong, Wednesday nights
Randall
who
night.
knows what you're gonna get.
You get something different every week.
Something crazy.
And where can people find you?
We are in North Syracuse, in what was Maine's Plaza. Now it's Corso Cookies Plaza.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've officially
named it.
I think Planet Fitness is really
Planet Fitness. Yeah, Planet Fitness, Burn Kick Bar. We're right across from them and right next to Applebee's.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah,
Sweetheart Corners.
Yeah, there it is.
Open 6 days a week, including Tuesdays.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming down tonight. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
What do you think of the chocolate peanut butter?
I actually liked it, and I don't like stout beers. But, this is a porter.
It's a porter.
It's a porter. It's not a stout. I typically try to stay away from a dark beer.
Don't fear the dark.
Yeah, I think it's just the heaviness of it,
Right.
Actually, ever since I've been back from Hawaii, we bought a bottle of rum that they like grow their own sugar cane and make their own rum there, like on the island. And so we bought a bottle and brought it back, and I bought like a big thing of pineapple juice, like the cans that I've been drinking, just rum and pineapple juice for the last week and a half.
Right.
Just trying to imagine.
Trying to get back.
I'm still in
Close your
Hawaii.
eyes. I'm back in Hawaii.
Yeah, man. There's just, God, have you guys ever been to Hawaii?
I have not.
I have not.
Oh, fuck.
No, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's one of
unreal.
my trips that I would love to go on.
Yeah, wildly expensive.
I've heard.
Luckily,
I've heard like $5 for a gallon of milk, or
$8
$8 for a
$8
gallon. So
of
then maybe that
milk.
was like 10 years ago that I heard $5.
Yeah,
Do you drink a lot of milk, Garrett?
I don't drink any milk.
yeah.
But
we don't either. Thank
you'll
God.
be okay.
So if we ever move,
well, Dave, I was trying to
connect. Yeah.
connect a
Whatever.
general item.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're in like the normal, like the towns, the village, like whatever, things are relatively like beer and stuff is almost the same price.
Right.
Happy hour, you can go and get like a $5 cocktail. The one thing I'll say is, if it's happy hour or if it's like an open bar setting, which we were at 2 of those, especially drinking a Mai Tai where it's dark rum poured on top and it's, it doesn't blend in. You can see there's like that much, like hardly any. And then when you pay $20 for a cocktail, there's like that much dark rum on top,
Sure.
Yeah.
But happy hour, you can get a $5 Mai Tai or mojito or whatever. Beers in town, $5-6, nothing crazy.
That's
if you're on the
standard.
resort, it's $10 for a beer. It's $20 for a cocktail. I mean, our
So
first,
it's like you're at the amphitheater.
yeah, exactly. Every day. Our first night at the resort, we had just flown in, 22 hours of flying or traveling, and we ordered room service. It was a bacon cheeseburger with chips because they don't serve fries, chicken tenders with chips, beer, and a Diet Coke was $125.
I hope you ate every
I
bite.
did. And it was actually a good burger.
Lick the plate. And
Right, but it was still $125.
that's insanity.
Insane. Oh my God. It's unreal how expensive some of this stuff was out there.
Huh.
So you can charge more. No, I'm just kidding.
I
yeah.
don't think we can get Hawaii prices in there.
You
Syracuse.
can't Hawaii prices. Yeah.
Yeah. $20 for a pint.
Yeah. So, well, thanks guys.
All right,
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.
It's fun.